Hello and welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tanya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you today? You are here for another episode, finally, of Life with Spice. Medium want to talk to you about how this summer is going, because as it's shaping up, it's very, very less soapy and more herbally, if you want to call it that. I have lots of plans in the mix. I have a root beer coming up. I have a series on roses and rose hips. I'm not sure if it's a series or if it's just going to be like one or two videos or one or whatever, but there's that, and some more herbs and just different things that I just want to bring you. And so it might be just a deluge of all these things that aren't soapy products. But so if you are a soaper and you're really expecting all these soapy things, I'm really sorry. And as for the au naturel soaps, I am not a specialty natural soap maker. There are some people who do beautiful natural soaps with all the clays and the natural colorants, and I just haven't broadened out into that aspect, and I'm not sure if I will. I just am having too much fun with all the scents and all the colors, and that is just me. So it's just me. Yeah. But so I hope you're not disappointed if you're a soaper and follow me. That would be amazing if people did that. But I always say, don't do as I do. Just, take away creative things, because I know some things I do that aren't on the correct wavelength of this whole soapy thing. This today is Life with Spice. So we'll get started through things. Dream big, be true to you. You are worth it. You're worth everything. Everything. Don't forget that. And let's go to Life with Spice. So, today we are discussing a little itty bitty weed. It's a weed. It's called dill weed. Okay, in my book it's called dill weed. It spreads like a weed. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of my herb garden, and so when we left and we came back, and it was so funny how these things grew, the sections of the garden. But my herb garden was just like, had a good 3-inch cover of weeds. It contained lamb's quarters, it contained dill weed, it contained common mallow, it contained some cilantro from last year, and this dill is all from last year, and it's all over. Like, this is what you get for not cleaning up your garden and just letting the seeds fall as it will. I have dill. I have been plucking dill, because I don't need it in these areas around my mint, around my herbs, and I still haven't cleaned it all up yet, but it's beautiful. So I mean, it doesn't matter if it's just a few inches high. You can pick it, because this is all drying stuff, but because you have this dill and you just let it dry. Some people hang it. I just keep rotating it on a cookie sheet because I don't have space. If I put it in the garage, they open the doors, and if it's windy, then it blows around, and so that's been a thing lately. But yeah, you just dry it. It doesn't have to be the huge stalks and stems. Yeah, and we'll talk about the stalks and stems. Okay, we're talking dill, and it's great. You can actually not overdo. You know how you can add too much salt to a recipe? Like, if it calls for a tablespoon and you actually dump it and it's 2 tablespoons, okay? Supposedly you can't over dill a recipe. No, dill is from the carrot and celery family. I'll put the word up there. You know me, I can't read. This is what I love about blogs and people who write blogs, because they don't have to read the words. They just have to spell them correctly. We don't have to say them. I feel like I have to say the word correctly, and I can't always pronounce the word. If you want to harvest the leaves, they're not typical leaves, but these are the leaves. If you want to harvest them, do it prior to flowering and without the stems, which is what I'm doing. I'm just pulling them up. I planted a few over to the side so they get big, so we get some seed. But yeah, I've got, I could like just cut it off and make salad, like shoo. And like the snippers, and just shoot. And I could have a salad right there. I could eat everything that's out there. You can eat the leaves, the stems, the seeds, everything's edible. Tincture is usually made with the seed, okay? You can make a tea of the dried seeds or leaves too. Interesting, if you chew the seeds after a meal, it helps with digestion. It helps reduce oral bacteria, fights gum disease, and freshens breath. Used over long term, it may solve problems that you have in your mouth. Also, if you chew these leaves, right, you're going to feel, it's just like there's something like just goes, your body, you can feel your body just jumping into action and doing something like, I don't know what it is, but it's really crazy. Dill is very carminative and anti-inflammatory. It's safe for little ones. We talked about this with the fennel. Tea or tincture, weak tea. Don't make a strong tea for little kids. But it does relieve infant colic just like fennel. Helps with children's stomach aches, flu, just upset stomach from what they ate or whatever. Breastfeeding moms can take the tea or the tincture, whatever, and it will pass through the milk to the baby, which also helps with milk production. See, so you add the fennel and the dill, and you're just like, waha! So they get a double benefit. I wish I would have known that with my last one, though. Yeah, he had a hard time. We had a hard time of it, but that's another story. Okay, dill is also high in vitamin A, C, and calcium. Teeth bonus. And it actually can help and treat osteoporosis in menopausal women. It may help reduce pain of rheumatoid arthritis too. It's a traditional treatment for menstrual irregularities and cramps, urinary tract infection, irritable bowel syndrome, great for hiccups and muscle spasms. It's great, of course, in salads. You can add it as is to your salad. Pickles, of course, cheeses, cream sauces, fish. We put it in our homemade tomato and basil soup. Sometimes it's basil, sometimes it's dill, sorry. Tomato dill soup, tomato basil soup. We add it to that. The stalks and the stems, I was going to tell you this. One year we did pickles, not last year, but one year we did pickles and I only had so much dill. Like I only had so much dill that came up. So having too many pickle jars and not enough dill, I actually went in, because we always put the seed heads in. That's what my grandma did. It was the seed heads. It wasn't this leafy stuff. It was the seed heads, okay? So we always, so if I only had so many seed heads, like one in each, you're supposed to put two. I mean, she had a whole, this is how you do it, right? But so I would put one seed head in each, and then I would put a stalk, like the stalk, the thick, hollow stalk. Yeah, those stems and stalks, I would put that in there too, and then with some dill weed on top. And of course, when I opened it and she'd see it, she'd be like, that's not right. And it's like, it's the same. It all tastes the same. So it was fine. They turned out great. I love dill pickles. So yeah, but you can do that with the stalks and the stems. So dill is generally regarded as safe. Good for everybody. We are going to go to the kitchen and do a couple fun things, but just wanted, everybody makes the cucumber salad, right? The cucumber salad with the dill. My brother, I'm going to give credit to my brother. One time when we were out camping or at a resort, it's not really camping, but whatever. He brought a salad for supper. It was cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, the purple onions. We have added Vidalia onions since. So any just your big chunky vegetables, and he covered it with ranch. Okay, so when you get your ranch ratio where you want it, you add like a half a cup, depending how big your bowl is, guys, half a cup to a cup of sour cream to it. Totally changed it. Plus a good chunk of dill weed. See, some recipes call for dill seed, and then there's dill weed. But yeah, it was my absolute favorite salad, summer salad ever. Totally ever. But anyway, that's all I have for you on dill. It's delightful. It's dazzling. And I will see you in the kitchen. Okay, we're going to actually make tartar sauce. And this is an old recipe of mine. Have you ever looked at the ingredients in tartar sauce? Yeah, it's amazing what they put in there. But we are going to start. This would have been a great way for me to show you how to make homemade mayonnaise from scratch, but we're not. So it's Miracle Whip or it's mayonnaise, whichever one you prefer. This is the one I pulled out of the fridge, so that's the one I'm using. Some people like the taste of mayo, some people don't, so it's totally up to you, whichever one you prefer. Okay, into our Miracle Whip, we are adding 1/4 teaspoon garlic granules, and that is actually my chives vinegar that we made. Did we make that last fall? Garlic chives vinegar. I'm starting with half a tablespoon, but I'm going to actually add more later, so it's going to be a good tablespoon of vinegar, or you could do lemon juice instead, okay? And then we go to chopped pickles, or if you want to be quick and easy, pickle relish. I started with 2 tablespoons. I'm going to tell you, I needed a little more. And I know I said I made this, like, I haven't made this in years, people. So I had to pull it out of my recipe box, and yeah, it was crazy. So we're going to do ground mustard and, dillweed. Sorry, we're doing dillweed first. That's my dillweed from last year. Yeah, it just needs to be clumped up, or crushed up, but the stuff on the bottom is all crushed up. So we actually need 1 whole teaspoon, at least 1 whole teaspoon of dried dillweed. And like, I just crush it up, if just crush it up. I'm going to add more to it, and like I said, you can't go wrong with dillweed. So even if I would have added 2 tablespoons to this small amount, it does not overpower the other spices. It's just a really crazy thing, but it's great. And the next we're going to add is ground mustard. That must be 1/4 of a teaspoon. Okay, because that's an 1/8. Yeah, an 1/8. Okay. 1/8 teaspoon paprika, ground mustard, and black pepper, of course. Gotta have black pepper, right? And this is optional. I put 1 teaspoon, approximately half teaspoon of sugar in there. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's totally fine. And you just blend this up really quickly and put it in the fridge. It was, like I said, I did add a little extra vinegar because my original recipe isn't very detailed. And it just needed that extra something, if you know what I mean. Okay, but put it in the fridge. It will last about a week or so. It's Miracle Whip, and it's got dried herbs and vinegar, and it's it'll last for a while. Just make sure it doesn't get moldy. But yeah. Oh, one other thing you can add is minced onions, which I forgot to add. Our next recipe is dill pickle dip, used for veggies or chips or really whatever you want to put on it. So we're going to start with prepping our few items, which is just dill weed. We want a good tablespoon here, tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half, or 2 tablespoons if you want. It's fresh. Do a better job than I did of cutting it up. Okay. Next, we need homemade pickles. Did you notice they are not green? No, homemade pickles are not green. Pickles should not contain polysorbate 80, and they should not contain food coloring. However, that is what you get when you go to the store and buy them. But we need just about a quarter of a cup chopped pickle. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. Just finely chopped, however chopped you want to do it. About a quarter of a cup. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Okay, and this is 4 ounces of soft cream cheese and 2 ounces, a tablespoon or 2 of sour cream. Okay, just, you need it room temperature so you can beat it. And then we have pickle juice, about 1/4 of a cup or so pickle juice. So you want to get that nice and smooth, and then you want to add your dill weed and your pickles. And I think I added a little salt to this too, a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, which of course I'll show you. But make sure you taste it before you put it in the fridge. You might need a little bit more pickle juice. You might need a little bit more dill, but taste it before, and then which is what I was doing. And just a little bit of salt in there. And then make sure you refrigerate it for at least 30 minutes. And it is going to get stiffer than this. Okay? But about 30 minutes before you use it. And here's something you can use it on, which we are doing, is dilly chips. Dilly potato chips. They said red potatoes. I didn't have any red potatoes. Okay? You're going to need 4. I did 2. You want about 70, 80 slices. I think I ended up with 30 to 40 out of these 2 potatoes. It's like, how? But if you have something that cuts them uniformly, that's the way to go. And you want them really close, about the same, about 1/8 of an inch, approximately is a good, amount or thickness. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a colander or a strainer or whatever, and we're going to rinse them really good. Okay? Rinse them really good. Get the starch off. And we're going to put them and pat them dry. And I just kind of like pat them dry a little bit, and then I just arranged them on the towel so they could dry while I was doing my, getting my spices together. And so for the spices, it's really simple. You just need some minced onion. Well, they say onion powder. I don't buy onion powder. I buy minced onions, and if I need onion powder, I just, mortar and pestle it. And then dill weed. 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons dill weed, dried, because, it'll work a lot easier than the fresh stuff on this project. I had a few stems in there. So I'm just going to mortar and pestle the 2 together and get it into a really nice, fine powder. And then you want to put oil a cookie sheet. And I was thinking about this. You probably could parchment paper it. I think that would be fine. I think they would still crisp up. And then just arrange them in one single layer. Obviously you don't want overlapping, because then they won't, dry correctly or cook correctly. And then we're going to take our oil again. I'm just using vegetable oil. You can use whatever type of oil you want. And you just want to brush the tops. Now, if you're the type of person who uses Pam, or you have the little spray thing, you can spray the pan with oil, and you can spray the tops of the potatoes, whichever you prefer. Okay? Then we're going to give them a little sprinkle of salt. And we're going to give them, I just filled my pepper up, so it was really dicing out pepper. But, and we're gonna, yeah, it's Caracan pepper like nothing. And then we're going to take our mixture there, and we are going to sprinkle it fairly heavily, and you will have a lot left. Like, you could probably make 2 or 3 pans of potatoes this way with that amount of seasoning salt. Or, yeah, it's not seasoning salt, it's onion powder and dill. But sprinkle it liberally onto each potato, which you can see I'm doing very well. And then we're going to put them into a 400-degree preheated oven and bake them. Ooh, look at that. Yeah. These still needed a few more minutes. You need to bake them between 15 and 20 minutes. Watch they don't brown too fast because it really depends on the oven. And there you go. Yummy, yummy dilly dip and chips and tartar sauce. Way healthier than the stuff in the grocery store. But anyway, there you have it. That was Tonya's Witchy Kitchen. Life with spice. I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.